In this tutorial, we're going to walk through the steps to recreate this vintage and retro text effect look on the left here, where you have a kind of three-dimensional look to the letters themselves with kind of recessed centers. So you'll want to select a font that has some thickness and weight to the actual letters themselves. Because of this inner recessed area, having a thinner font will be problematic for these kind of the recessed shadow edges here. So yeah, once you have that done and you have a word that you want to use, go ahead and select your letter or your word, and we want to first create our kind of recessed area here on the inside. So to do that with the word selected, if you go over to the toolbar here and select your contour tool, we want an inside contour, and then you can play with the offset setting here to determine the thickness of this border. You want it to be somewhat thick. About what I have here is good. Once you have that done, hit Control K on your keyboard to separate the contour object now from the font itself. And let's give this a lighter gray color just for now. With that still selected, now we want to create our inner recessed shadow shapes. So in the same flyout tool here, we want to use our Extrude tool, and we'll just click and drag and just hold down Shift to go to the right here. Don't worry about the length, we'll adjust that in a second. With it's still active, up here at the top we want this bottom right extrusion type. And this will give us our inner shapes here that we're going to have on the left sides of the inner parts of the letters. So with that done, now we want to adjust the length of these. So with that still selected, you can either click and drag holding down Shift to bring the extrusion in, or you can adjust your setting manually up at the top here just by using the arrows or typing in a specific number. If you hold down Shift and press F9, you can see how close your extrusion will be to the inner edge of the contour here, so you can determine how deep you want that extrusion to look. So we'll just go about that. Looks good. Just hit Shift 10 to get back to the normal view. Now we want to get rid of the excess parts that we don't need from this extrusion. So we're going to hit Control K on the keyboard, deselect and then reselect, and just so that we can move this out of the way and get it repositioned when we're done, we're going to use the transform docker on the right here, and we're just going to move it up by 1 inch increments just to get it out of the way so we don't accidentally move or modify these objects down here. Once you have that done, select if it's still selected, go ahead and hit Control K again just to double check, and then we're just going to ungroup the objects. Don't ungroup all, because we want just these to still be one solid selection, so we'll get rid of those. And we want to get rid of these thin horizontal pieces that extend beyond this gray inner extrusion part. So we're just going to marquee select those and get rid of those. Get rid of those. Get rid of this one. Get rid of these bottom ones. There we go. Once you've gotten rid of those excess pieces that are, go ahead and select all these extrusion parts, and we're just going to weld them into solid pieces. Once you have that done, we're just going to move this back into place by just going -1 inch increments, and we'll just give it a dark color for now, just so we can see how it's shaping up. The next thing we want to do is we want to create this inner horizontal line pattern. So we're just going to, if you just create a rectangle shape that's pretty thin, if you click and drag and hold shift and then hit the right mouse button while you still have it selected, you'll get a copy, and you can just let go, and then if you hold down and press Control R, you'll duplicate your last command, so you can duplicate out a bunch of or rectangle objects until you get to roughly the bottom. And I'm going to, if you don't like the spacing, if you want them thinner or closer or further apart, if you just grab the bottom one, so then select all and go to the align and distribute, you can redistribute them vertically to get more spacing or less spacing depending on your preference. So yeah, I like the spacing I have here, so I'm going to select them all. I'm going to combine them into one shape, and with them selected, I'm going to select my contour object here, and I'm just going to hit E on my keyboard, and what that does is it will align it along the horizontal center. And just so we can see how we're looking here. Okay, so that looks good. So yeah, that looks good to me. So what I'm going to do is just grab this middle anchor point here, and I'm just going to scale it, stretch it horizontally so that it covers all the letters. Then I'm going to click them again, go up to the object in the menu, and I want to power clip, and I'm going to place these inside this contour object here just by clicking on it. So we get that. Well, actually, before we do that, I'm going to apply this color to these, and then yeah, now I'll power clip it in. There we go. With that done, now I want to get my outer extrusion. So to do that, select your original font or word, and in the toolbar here we want to go to our block shadow tool, and we're just going to click and drag. Unfortunately, this tool doesn't allow you to constrain your drag in horizontally, vertically, whatever, so we'll just fix that in a second. So what you'll want to do is figure out your extrusion length. So it looks like 0.35 is about where I have, and then in the direction, this is where you'll put 360. Weird. It looks like we'll just have to, let's see, 360. And you may have kind of these weird, there we go. So we're going to also give it an outline here. We'll bump this down. Let's see, yeah. 359. So you may run into situations like that where the font creates weird kind of artifacting with the block shadow tool, and you just have to kind of adjust the settings very slightly. So 359.9 will work just fine for our purposes, but normally you'd want 360 just to be perfectly straight. So yeah, once you have that set and you have a good outline that you are happy with, go ahead and hit Control K on the keyboard to separate the object, and you essentially have the effect ready to go. So now we'll just apply our color scheme. So I'm going to give the contour, inner contour part this orange. I'm going to give the shadows this dark green, and I don't want an outline or stroke on all the objects, so I'm just going to get rid of them for this time being. And then I do want one on the contour part, and I want it to be this light green, so I'm just going to drag, or let's see, we'll grab the color picker, grab the color, and we'll give it the outline here. And we want to bump this up to point. We want to give it a decently thick outline just so it shows up. Now, if you are real concerned, you can see how, because the extrusion, inner extrusion part is on top of our contour shape, it looks like it doesn't look like the outline, like it's going on top of here. So we're just going to fix that by, if you select your contour shape, right click, and we're going to extract the contents. And what we'll do is select the shadow inner extrusion part in these horizontal lines, and we're going to power clip them both into the contour shape, so now it looks like it's behind there. There. Once you've done that, you have, let's see, we'll give the font a white just to match the original reference. But once you have completed those steps, you have accomplished this retro text effect that can be applied to a lot of thicker fonts and can be modified to different purposes. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share this video. It will help to grow this channel and allow me to provide more content. See you in the next video.